Good evening, listeners. It's me, your host, Rambling Ram. I'm here with some more stories to scare, shock and horrify you. Or possibly, just possibly, let you know what's really out there in the dark. Enjoy, listeners. The Chair by Trick Boston. It happened just a few weeks ago on a strangely warm April night. I got the pang to go and have a cigarette. My fiancée was sound asleep upstairs. We'd just watched a movie and then finished up an episode of one of our favourite TV shows. I crept outside, dropping the trash off, as I went to take care of my terrible habit. I walked down the street a ways, as I always do, when I got a familiar sensation. The chair. Seldom do I go and indulge in a cigarette without experiencing this odd sensation as I walk to the spot where I do the deed. There is a small house next to our apartment building that has been unoccupied for some time now. An old lawn chair sits up against a chain link fence. It faces the street, placed in a spot one wouldn't normally put a single lawn chair. Every time I pass this chair, an uneasy feeling overcomes me. A feeling which is difficult to put into words. It's almost as if someone is sitting in it, looking out with longing eyes. I want to acknowledge it, turn to see someone and nod my head in greeting, but I know no one is there. I pass the chair, and I never look, but this time I did. There was a person in it. Clear as day I saw them. The figure sat tall and upright. It was statuesque. It peered out of the darkness straight at me. I froze. Not knowing what to do, I just stood there, staring. The figure reaches out as if to welcome me. I continued to stare directly into the darkness, toward the figure. The area around the chair was dark and ominous. My skin goosed and I began to sweat, and not a normal night at the gym kind of sweat, a cold, damp sweat. "Who's there?" I almost shouted. The figure sat still, never moving from its rigid stance. No response. I continued to stare. My eyes couldn't focus. I just stood there, staring. I blinked to try and clear my vision. That's when the figure vanished. I shook my head, looked again. Nothing. I miraculously could move again. I continued the walk forward, past the chair to the corner of the street. I stood there, shaking in the dark, constantly turning around and looking over my shoulder. Cars passed. Other than the sound of them, it was uncomfortably silent. I lit up my cigarette. Drag after drag, I thought about just walking back home. Or was it that I wanted to walk back to the chair? No, I didn't. I finished my smoke and headed home, but I couldn't help but glance over at the chair. It was empty still. Nothing occupied the dark space. Just silence. The chair lit dimly by the night sky. To this day, it's hard to pass by that spot without picturing the figure. Guess I'll just keep my guard up and hope it doesn't return. Here's the only photo I could stomach taking. My friend got lost in the woods at night by the Nuka dweller. My best friend Nathan got lost while hiking in woods below Devil's Creek Mountain 3 years ago. Turns out he was trying to contact me the whole time. Someone must have found his phone, because suddenly I got a slew of messages from him. I'm releasing them here, because I think something terrible happened to him. 12:05 AM. 4 hours after he disappeared. Fuck. I can't find any trace of where you guys have gone. It's getting cold and my flashlight's nearly dead. 12:35 AM. Alright, I'm recharging the batteries with the handheld generator. It's unnaturally dark out here. I can't even hear any animals. Anyway, I'm gonna send these messages periodically, so you know what happened if you ever get them. 1:03 AM. I'm heading off to bed now. I built a little shelter, like we used to in that bushcraft class. 3:44 AM. Something's outside. It woke me up stepping on a twig. I think it's just a fox, or something. Maybe a wolf at worst. 10:37 AM. Bit of a restless night, but I made it. I'm gonna do some exploring. It'll be easier in the light. 11:54 AM. Holy hell, found something creepy as shit. Looks like a deer head nailed to a tree, half rotted and shit. Gave me the shivers. Kind of feel like I'm being watched, probably anxiety. 3:26 PM. Nothing really happened except I had to recharge the phone with a hand crank battery. Oh yeah, I found more animal skulls nailed to trees. Starting to get kinda scared. 4:23 PM. Oh god, John. Something killed them. I saw smoke from a campfire. When I got there, I found 3 people dead and dismembered. I found an arm fucking chewed on. I've gotta get the fuck out of here. 6:34 PM. Something is fucking watching me. I can feel it there. It's getting dark. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it through the night. 7:56 PM. I found a goddamn human corpse strung up in a tree. Something is in these fucking woods and it's killing people. 8:26 PM. I'm setting up camp in a clearing. I still feel watched, but I've calmed down a bit. 9:34 PM. Something's outside the goddamn shelter and it's not a goddamn fox. 9:40 PM. That's it. I'm fucking going out there. If you don't get any more messages, for God's sake, don't go looking for me. 9:50 PM. It's horrifying. It has a head like a dog but without any fur. This thing is 9 feet tall with long arms that end in claws. Its eyes are pitch black. The rest of the body is completely furless, and its skin is white as snow. Not to mention it's covered in fucking blood. God, what if it finds me? 2:37 AM. I think it's gone. I'm probably not going to get much sleep tonight, though. 7:43 AM. I've decided to start early and try to get out of these fucking woods. 8 AM. Is it me? Or do the woods seem darker today? I'm terrified that thing will find me. 9:37 AM. I feel it watching me, John. 10:53 AM. I think this forest is cursed. I saw a woman in the woods ahead of me. I said hello. She didn't reply. As soon as I got close, she, or it, turned around. She had no fucking eyes, and her skin was pale and rotted. She began to walk towards me and I fucking booked it. The entire time I was running, the trees were filled with people hung by nooses. 2:37 PM. I made it to a hill and tried to get my bearings. The forest seems to stretch on forever. I hope wherever you are out there, you're safe. 8:36 PM. Thankfully nothing's happened, but I'm still anxious. Just wanted to tell you I'm still alive. 10:59 PM. Nothing of note. I'm just heading to bed. I think whatever that thing was has gone or lost my trail. I'm praying it didn't find you. Hold on, something's outside. I'm gonna go check it out. 3:33 AM. Why don't you join me in the forest, John? We will have a wondrous time. That was the last message I ever got from Nathan. Something happened to him in the forest that night. Don't go hiking in the woods by Devil's Creek Mountain. There are things in there beyond this realm. My friend lost his life there. Don't make the same mistake. Don't do drugs. By Shade Flare. I'm bleeding, I think to myself. Why am I bleeding? No, better yet, the thought should be, where am I bleeding from? My eyes adjust to the darkness around me as I blink a few times and look around. Coming to my senses, I realise that there is blood in my mouth. There's enough of it to make me think I was in some sort of accident. Did I cut my mouth or lose a tooth? I manoeuvre my tongue around my mouth. I don't feel a cut, nor do I feel any missing teeth. Maybe I threw up pretty violently. However, even with the amount of blood, my mouth feels dry, as if I haven't had a decent meal or drink in ages. Talking about a drink, the last thing I remembered before this was being at the bar. I was there with someone. Wait, who was I with? Trying my best to remember, the effort amounts to nothing but a slight headache. Screw this. I decide that the best course of action right now would be to find out where I am. Looking around, I see a pretty large and messy bed in an otherwise empty room. There's a slightly open door, which I assume leads outside, and another which I assume is a closet. I've been sitting on the floor this whole time while I try to assess the situation. I try to get up, and my legs feel like they haven't moved in years. It's as if the muscles in both of my legs have atrophied from lack of movement. I eventually get up and make my way towards the room's exit. My legs feel weak, and I can only manage to stumble about. God, I must have drunk myself half to death. I leave the room, making my way into what looks like a war zone. I'm in a living room, and there are bodies everywhere. The furniture is either half destroyed or barely recognisable. The bodies are missing bits and pieces everywhere. There's an arm hanging from a chandelier on the ceiling. I look down to my left and see a body missing half of its face and having a mini freakout. My eyes frantically dart around to find the exit. Looking across a sea of bodies, I see the exit, and instantly the fear sets in. There are 2 bodies propped up on each side of the door. One of them has a gaping hole in its chest. The other is missing an arm, and the skin around its right cheek is missing, exposing the yellow-tinted teeth, which should typically be hidden away. Carefully I shamble towards the door, making sure not to bump into any of the corpses laying around. 15 feet, 10 feet, 7 feet, 4 feet. Just a couple more steps and I can leave this clusterfuck of death. My foot lands on the floorboard right in front of the door, and the floor lets out a long wail of sound, as if it was waiting all its life to creak just once. As if on cue, the 2 bodies by the door become animate. They open their eyes at once and look straight at me. My body tenses up and my mind shuts down, killing all hope of a plan. The 2 bodies moan and groan as they start to move towards me. A sound from behind me brings me back to my senses. I look back to see every single strewn corpse reanimate. Turning back, I see the corpses from the door in front of me, staring me down as if they were looking at some sort of strange creature. Before waiting for what I assumed would be the worst, I hardened my resolve and felt the strength come back to my legs. I started to move away when the 2 in front of me tried to grab hold of me. No! My voice sounded raspy as I managed to let out sound. The pair in front of me freeze, giving me time to move away, towards what I assume is a dining room. As I shamble away, I turn back to see if I'm being followed. Strangely enough, the corpses in the other room seem to just watch me. I turn my head forward again to see another corpse staring straight at me. No! I cry out again, thinking that it might work a second time. However, there is no one in front of me. I'm staring at a mirror. There is no other corpse. It's just my own reflection. Touching my face for the first time since I got up, my skin feels old and dry. It's tinted grey, and there are cuts and scabs all over. Worst of all, though, was my mouth, which was entirely exposed. Suddenly, feeling a hand on my shoulder, I turn around. The corpse from the bedroom door is there. In a raspy voice similar to mine, it says, "It's okay. You were just having the human dream again, and woke up thinking you were alive. This is why I told you not to eat those stoners." I look back at the mirror and sigh. I exclaim, "Lesson learned." Well, listeners, I sincerely hope you enjoyed the tales that I brought you this evening. It would be a great pleasure to me if you would like, comment, and subscribe. if you're not already a subscriber. And please wait for me to bring you more tales to alter your perception of how the world may really be. This is Rambling Ram, signing off. Good night, listeners, and sweet dreams.